He's advocated for universal and single-payer health care. Don't act like you don't need health care. He's fighting to reverse economic inequality. Supports labor rights, paid parental leave, tuition-free tertiary education. What many of you may not know is he's been fighting for us since he was a young man. While a student, he was an active protest organizer for the Congress of Racial Equality. Fighting against racism is not a trend for him. It has been his life's work. He also served on the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee during the Civil Rights Movement. It is my pleasure to present the U.S. Senator from Vermont, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you. Thank you. And Reverend and all of you, thank you so much for inviting me to be in your beautiful church this morning. And my brief remarks will not be political. They will be about the universal theme of justice. And when I talk about justice, I talk about racial justice, I talk about economic justice, talk about social justice, and I talk about environmental justice. And I talk about ending the kind of divisiveness and hatred that is growing all over this country. And we talk about what Dr. King reminded us, that we judge people not by the color of their skin or by superficial characteristics, but by who they are as human beings. That is our goal. And when we talk about justice, we remember that in the richest country in the history of the world, we should not have 500,000 people tonight sleeping out on the streets. And when we talk about justice, we talk about not having more people in America in jail than any other country on earth, including China. And justice to me means what exists in almost every other major country on earth, that health care is a human right. Whether you're rich or whether you're poor or you're in the middle, you should not have to hesitate to go to the doctor when you get sick, and you should not have to worry about being bankrupt if you end up in the hospital. And when we talk about justice, we must recognize that there is something immoral about 3 families in America owning more wealth than the bottom half of America. And that in the midst of that, there is a massive level of racial disparity. And when we talk about justice in America, it means we should not have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country. That our workers should not be forced to work 2 or 3 jobs in order to take care of their families. That our elderly people should be able to retire in dignity and be able to afford the prescription drugs that they need. But it's not only economic justice, it is political justice as well. And I don't have to tell anybody in the state of Georgia what that means. It means that we believe in a political system of one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. And we are going to do everything that we can to end this outrage of voter suppression all over this country. You know, I have run for office many times in my own state. Sometimes I've lost, sometimes I've won. Most of the times I've won. But it has never occurred to me to try to figure out a way to keep people from voting because they might vote against me. And what I have said time and time again and every day, if there are governors and politicians in this country who are too afraid to engage in free, fair, and open elections, they should get out of politics and get another job. So we are in a unique moment in American history. And the direction in which we will go could either be a nation in which our leadership divides us up, or a country in which we come together. We can be a nation in which a very few have enormous wealth and power, or we can be a nation in which all of us share God's wealth. So I just want to thank you all again for allowing me to be with you this morning, and look forward to meeting many of you personally in the months to come. Thank you all very much.